to take a minute, guys, to talk about Bruno Guimarães. Because on Bruno Guimarães, I've been telling you everything over the recent weeks, and my position remains absolutely clear. Arsenal want Bruno Guimarães. Let's enter into all the details on every single side of this story.
Hello Gunners, welcome back to Arsenal Daily Talk, your #1 destination for the latest Arsenal transfer news, breaking updates, match analysis and everything happening at the Emirates. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on you Gunners! Today could be another huge day in Arsenal's summer transfer window because fresh reports have once again placed Bruno Guimarães at the centre of Mikel Arteta's transfer plans. According to the latest reports, Arsenal remain interested in the Newcastle United midfielder despite seeing previous offers rejected. This story is developing quickly and it has Gunners everywhere wondering whether the club is preparing one final push to land one of the Premier League's best midfielders. Before we continue, it is important to remember that this remains a developing transfer story. Nothing has been officially confirmed by either club, but the latest reports suggest Arsenal have not given up on their pursuit. Reports claim Arsenal opened discussions with an offer worth around £55 million. Newcastle United were not convinced and rejected that proposal, making it clear they value Bruno Guimarães much higher. Arsenal were then reportedly willing to improve their offer to around £65 million. Once again, Newcastle were not prepared to accept. The Magpies are said to believe their Brazilian star is worth close to £90 million, reflecting just how important he is to their ambitions. That difference in valuation has created one of the biggest transfer standoffs of the summer. The question now is simple: how badly do Arsenal want Bruno Guimarães? Mikel Arteta has spent years building a squad capable of competing for the biggest trophies. Arsenal have already strengthened key positions, but many supporters believe one more elite midfielder could take this team to another level. Bruno Guimarães is exactly the type of player who changes matches. He combines aggression with composure, creativity with defensive discipline, and possesses the leadership qualities expected from a player competing at the highest level. Whether under pressure or controlling the tempo of a match, the Brazilian has consistently shown why he is regarded as one of the Premier League's elite midfielders. Reports also suggest that while Bruno remains respectful of Newcastle United and appreciates everything the club has done for him, he would be interested in joining Arsenal if an agreement can be reached between the clubs. That part of the story has excited Arsenal supporters the most. As every football fan knows, convincing the player is often one of the hardest parts of any transfer. If personal terms are not an obstacle, attention shifts to the negotiations between clubs. However, Newcastle are in a strong negotiating position. They are under no obligation to sell one of their most influential players and know that replacing someone of Bruno Guimarães' quality would be extremely difficult. That is why reports continue to indicate they are holding firm on their valuation. From Arsenal's perspective, this becomes a question of strategy. Do they increase their offer closer to Newcastle's asking price? Do they attempt to negotiate with performance-related bonuses and add-ons? Or do they walk away and pursue another midfield target? Those are the questions dominating discussions among Arsenal supporters today. One thing is certain: Arteta has repeatedly shown he is willing to wait for players he truly believes can improve his squad. Arsenal have demonstrated patience in previous transfer windows, and if Bruno Guimarães is considered a priority target, the club may yet return with another proposal. The coming days could therefore be crucial. Will Newcastle soften their stance? Will Arsenal submit an improved offer? Or will this become one of the biggest transfer sagas of the entire summer? Only time will tell. But if these reports continue to gather momentum, Arsenal fans could be in for another dramatic chapter in what has already been an exciting transfer window. Let me know your opinion in the comments below. Would you pay £90 million to sign Bruno Guimarães, or should Arsenal invest that money elsewhere? If you enjoyed today's breaking update, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer news. Stay tuned because Part 2 will break down exactly how Bruno Guimarães could transform Mikel Arteta's tactical system and why Arsenal believe he could be the missing piece in their pursuit of major trophies. Now let's move into the tactical side of this story, because this is where things become even more exciting for Arsenal supporters. If Arsenal eventually succeed in signing Bruno Guimarães, it would not simply be another transfer. It could completely reshape the balance of Mikel Arteta's midfield and potentially elevate Arsenal into an even stronger position to challenge for both the Premier League and the Champions League. One of the biggest questions Arsenal fans have asked over the last 2 seasons is whether the club has enough control in midfield during the biggest matches. Against elite opponents, games are often decided by who dominates the centre of the pitch. That is exactly where Bruno Guimarães has built his reputation. The Brazilian is more than just a defensive midfielder. He is a complete midfielder who can win possession, dictate the tempo, break opposition lines with accurate passing, and carry the ball through pressure. Those qualities are incredibly valuable in Arteta's possession-based system. Imagine an Arsenal midfield consisting of Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Bruno Guimarães. Rice would provide defensive security, recover possession, and protect the back line. Bruno could operate as the deep-lying playmaker, linking defence with attack while resisting pressure from opponents. Odegaard would then have greater freedom to create chances closer to goal. That combination could give Arsenal one of the most balanced midfields in European football. Another reason Arsenal reportedly admire Bruno Guimarães is his consistency. Week after week in the Premier League, he has demonstrated the ability to perform against the strongest teams. Whether facing Manchester City, Liverpool, or Chelsea, he rarely looks intimidated by the occasion. That mentality is exactly what Arteta has tried to build within this Arsenal squad. Leadership is another major factor. Bruno has become one of Newcastle United's most influential figures, leading through his performances, determination, and commitment. Arsenal already have leaders such as Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice, but adding another experienced player with a winning mentality could strengthen the dressing room even further. His technical ability would also help Arsenal solve one of their recurring problems. There have been matches where opponents press aggressively, making it difficult for Arsenal to play out from the back. Bruno is renowned for receiving the ball under pressure, shielding it intelligently and finding progressive passes that break opposition lines. Those moments can completely change the momentum of a game. His versatility is another attractive quality. He can play as a defensive midfielder, as a number 8, or even slightly further forward when needed. That flexibility would give Arteta more tactical options throughout a demanding season filled with Premier League, Champions League, Domestic Cup, and international fixtures. Depth has become increasingly important. Arsenal's ambitions are no longer limited to qualifying for the Champions League. The expectation is to compete for every major trophy available. To achieve that, elite quality depth is essential. Signing Bruno Guimarães would not simply add another player to the squad. It would increase competition for places and ensure Arsenal can rotate without a significant drop in quality. Of course, there is still one major obstacle: Newcastle's reported valuation. Reports continue to suggest Newcastle value Bruno at around £90 million, reflecting both his importance to the team and the length of his contract. That means Arsenal would need to decide whether investing such a large fee in one player represents the best use of their transfer budget. Some supporters believe Arsenal should pay whatever it takes to secure one of the league's best midfielders. Others argue that the money could be spread across multiple signings to strengthen several positions. That debate is likely to continue until this transfer story reaches its conclusion. For now, Arsenal supporters can only wait to see whether the club returns with another improved proposal or decides to explore alternative targets. One thing is certain: if Bruno Guimarães ever walks out at the Emirates Stadium wearing the famous red and white shirt, expectations will immediately rise. Fans would see him as a player capable of helping Arsenal take the final step towards winning the biggest trophies once again. But the biggest question remains: will Arsenal make one final move that convinces Newcastle to negotiate, or will this become another transfer saga that slips away? We'll answer that in the final part, where we'll discuss the possible outcomes, what could happen in the coming days, and whether Arsenal can realistically complete one of the biggest deals of the summer. As we reach the final part of today's Breaking Arsenal update, everything comes down to one question: can Arsenal actually complete the signing of Bruno Guimarães this summer? Right now, the answer is that it remains possible, but far from straightforward. Reports suggest Arsenal's interest is genuine, but Newcastle United are standing firm. From their perspective, there is no pressure to sell one of the eye. The next few days could be decisive. If fresh reports emerge of renewed talks or an improved Arsenal bid, this story could move very quickly. Equally, Newcastle may continue to hold their position and force Arsenal to consider other options. Whatever happens, Arsenal Daily Talk will be here to cover every update, every twist, and every piece of breaking news throughout the transfer window. Now it's over to you, Gunners. Would you pay £90 million for Bruno Guimarães? Do you think he is the missing piece that can help Arsenal win the Premier League? Or should Arsenal invest that money in strengthening multiple positions instead? Share your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters, and the debate is only just beginning. If you enjoyed today's update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer news, breaking updates, and tactical analysis. Thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Gunners.